LeBron James hasn't even hit free agency yet, and his name is already turning the league upside down. What started as quiet background chatter among executives and insiders has now turned into one of the biggest talking points in the NBA. Is LeBron really considering going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers for one last run? For weeks, you'd hear little hints here and there. Now, according to people plugged in around the league, this isn't just fantasy talk anymore. ESPN's Tim McMahon put it bluntly. There's rampant speculation among front offices that a LeBron-Cavs reunion is absolutely on the table this summer, and that it might even be tied to something as big as a retirement tour for the ages. At the same time, it's important to be clear about what we actually know. LeBron has not announced anything. He hasn't said, "This is my last season." He hasn't committed to leaving the Lakers, and he hasn't promised Cleveland anything. McMahon himself emphasized that no decision has been made. But the way people inside the NBA are talking about LeBron's future has definitely changed. It feels less like, will he ever go back? And more like, is now the moment he closes a circle? To understand why the Cleveland possibility suddenly feels real again, you have to look at what's happening in Los Angeles. The Lakers aren't the same franchise they were when LeBron first signed there. Back then, every move was about maximizing his title window. The roster was constantly reshaped to try to put just enough around him and Anthony Davis to make a deep playoff run. It was all about the present. Now, the tone around the Lakers' long-term planning is different. Multiple national reports have suggested that the organization is looking down the road, thinking about the next phase of the franchise, and eyeing Luka Doncic as the kind of player they'd like to center their future around. Whether they ever actually land Luka is its own question, but the point is the mindset. Protecting flexibility, keeping cap space open, building defensive depth, and not locking themselves into older timelines. That shift naturally affects how they think about LeBron. He will be 41 next season. That alone is unbelievable when you look at how productive he still is. But from a front office perspective, you can't ignore that age. The Lakers are no longer just asking, how do we squeeze one more run out of this core? They're also asking, what does the team look like 3 or 5 years from now? When you start planning in that kind of window, it's harder to justify structuring everything around a player deep into his 40s, even if that player is LeBron James. This isn't about some big public falling out or personal drama between LeBron and the Lakers. It's more about timing. His personal clock and the franchise's long-term clock are starting to move at different speeds. That's where Cleveland suddenly becomes interesting again, because what they can offer him is something that's less about building an entirely new project and more about signing off on a legacy. The Cavaliers today are nothing like the shell of a team LeBron left after the 2018 finals. This is not a rebuilding group looking for a savior. With Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and a strong supporting cast, Cleveland has reestablished itself as a serious threat in the Eastern Conference. They're younger, they're deeper, and they have the kind of core that can compete for years, not just a season or two. Drop the idea of LeBron into that context, and you can see the appeal. He wouldn't be going back to drag a lottery roster to respectability. He'd be joining a team that already expects to win playoff rounds. With him as a veteran closer, the leader, and the symbol of the franchise's past and present all at once. And then there's the emotional side that you simply can't separate from Cleveland and LeBron. This is the city that watched him go from teenage prodigy to global icon. He was drafted first overall by the Cavaliers in 2003. He carried them to their first finals appearance in 2007. He left, came back, and in 2016 delivered the single most important title in the history of Cleveland sports, ending a 52-year championship drought across all major leagues. That 3-1 comeback against the Warriors isn't just a highlight. It's part of the city's identity. When the Lakers played in Cleveland recently, you could feel that connection in the arena. The reaction he got wasn't the standard respectful ovation visiting stars receive. It had a different tone to it. Softer, almost like a thank you. Fans weren't begging him to come back, or booing him for having left. It felt like appreciation for everything he's already done. If he chose to return again now, it wouldn't be about making amends. That chapter closed in 2016. This time, it would be about writing the final lines of a career exactly where it began. That's where the idea of a retirement tour comes in. For a while, There was real concern among some fans, and even people inside the league, that LeBron might just walk away one summer without a structured farewell. His focus has always been on competing, not on orchestrating goodbye. But McMahon's latest reporting suggests the thinking may be shifting. More and more, the belief around the NBA is that LeBron will want, and frankly deserves, a proper send-off season. We've seen what that looks like before. Kobe Bryant's final year with the Lakers in 2015, the 16 turned every away game into an event. Opposing arenas ran tribute videos. Fans lined up hours early just to catch a glimpse. That farewell ended with a 60-point explosion in his final game, which instantly became one of the most replayed performances in league history. Even before that, Michael Jordan's last run with the Washington Wizards created a similar effect. The team wasn't a title contender, but every building he walked into was sold out because people wanted one last chance to say they'd seen him play. Now think about LeBron in that context. Since he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in February 2023, he's in the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. He's been a superstar at the center of the league for over 2 decades. He's bridged the era from late prime Kobe and Duncan all the way to the current generation headlined by players like Giannis, Luka, and Jokic. His career isn't just long. It defines an entire stretch of NBA history. A final season based in Cleveland, with the Cavaliers in contention, and every arena he visits treating each game like a celebration of his career, will be on a completely different scale from anything we've seen. Ticket prices would skyrocket. National TV schedules would revolve around it. Every night would be packed with tributes, former teammates courtside, and highlight packages tracing his journey from Akron to Cleveland, Miami, Los Angeles, and back. From the league's perspective, a LeBron James retirement tour in a Cavaliers jersey could become one of the most closely followed regular seasons of all time. And from LeBron's perspective, it would be a chance to control the ending in a way very few legends get to do. No abrupt injuries, no quiet midsummer retirement announcement. Instead, a full year where fans in every city get to say goodbye. Of course, we're not there yet. There are several steps between today's speculation and any kind of announcement. Free agency hasn't officially opened. The league calendar still has to reset. Only then can LeBron and his representation sit down and actually negotiate terms with any team, whether that's the Lakers, the Cavaliers, or someone else who tries to jump into the race. When that time comes, the decision is going to rest on a few key pillars: how competitive the situation is, how the contract is structured, and what the long-term impact on his legacy looks like. On the floor, Cleveland can offer him a chance to contend in the East without having to shoulder every burden every night, sharing the offensive load with Donovan Mitchell, playing alongside a defensive anchor and future superstar in Evan Mobley, and leaning on a deep rotation would allow him to pick his spots. Off the floor, returning to the Cavs to close things out gives him an emotional narrative that feels almost too perfect. The kid from Akron finishes where he started and where he delivered the city's greatest sporting achievement. Los Angeles, on the other hand, offers something different. The Lakers are still one of the most powerful brands in all of sports. Staying there would mean continuity for his family, consistency for his off-court businesses, production companies and media ventures, and the chance to keep playing in one of the biggest markets in the world. Even if the team gradually shifts its focus to younger stars and a future beyond him, there's a real argument that from a lifestyle and brand standpoint, staying put would be simpler. That's what makes this summer so intriguing. This isn't just about choosing between two teams. It's about choosing what he wants the final chapter of his basketball life to look like. It's about squeezing every last competitive drop out of his body, regardless of jersey or location. Is it about symbolism and going home one last time? Is it about stability and off-court positioning in Los Angeles? Or is it, in some way, about all of those things at once? Right now, the one certainty is uncertainty. The Cavs can't count on him until he signs. The Lakers can't fully plan until he tells them what he wants. Other teams are watching from the background, realistic enough to know they're probably not at the top of his list, but aware that when a player like LeBron hits free agency, everyone at least has to look at the landscape. Meanwhile, the entire NBA ecosystem is on standby. Coaches, executives, media, and fans all understand that wherever he chooses to play next, and especially if that choice involves a planned farewell, it won't just change one team's outlook. It will shape how we talk about his entire two-decade run when it's finally over. If he does go back to Cleveland and frame it as a last dance, that picture of him in a Cavaliers uniform will sit right alongside the image of him holding the trophy in 2016 every time his career is summarized. If he stays in Los Angeles and finishes as a Laker, then his time in purple and gold, including the 2020 championship, takes on even greater weight in his legacy. For now, all anyone can really do is wait. The free agency window will open, the meetings will happen, and at some point, LeBron James will decide where and how he wants to close one of the greatest careers the league has ever seen. Whether that's with a full circle return to the Cleveland Cavaliers, a continued run with the Los Angeles Lakers, or something no one expects yet, his choice is going to dominate the NBA conversation the moment it drops.